So we met on Hinge, of course. His name was Elliot. Early 30s, dark curly hair, wireframe glasses, the kind of face you'd call gentle. His profile was clean and curated, but not in a try-hard way. He didn't do thirst traps or shirtless mirror selfies. He had a picture with a dog, his sister's apparently, and a short clip of him playing piano. Not well, but charmingly bad enough that I watched it twice. We matched on a Wednesday. By Thursday night, we were deep into one of those rare back and forths where the jokes land, the references click, and the replies come fast. There was a rhythm to it, a comfort. He told me he worked in architecture, which felt like the perfect blend of serious and artsy. Said he liked city views, rooftops, and quiet places with no expectations. That last part stuck with me. He brought up this rooftop his friend had access to. Private building, downtown, just on the edge of the arts district. Said they used to host low-key parties up there. Music, wine, watching the skyline shift from pink to ink. "You should come," he said. "We're doing a little thing Saturday night." I hesitated. Not because of him, but because rooftop parties in cities are almost always lies. They either turn out to be 30 people crammed around a single space heater, or 4 guys with an aux-cord and cheap beer. But he said it wouldn't be big. Just a few friends. He even said I could bring someone, which made me feel like I didn't need to. So I agreed. Saturday night, 7:15 p.m., he texts me. "Front door's open. Buzz is busted. Come up the stairs. Top floor." It's an old red brick building. 4 floors, maybe 5. Not sketchy, just quiet. No one in the lobby. No music echoing from above. I figured I was early. The stairwell is dim, all cement and echo. I climb 2 flights, then 3. On the 4th landing, I see a heavy metal door with a faded roof access, emergency only sign half peeled off. Elliot's already there. He's smiling. Dressed well, dark coat, clean boots, holding 2 glasses of something fizzy and gold. "You made it," he says. "Come on, view's insane tonight." He pulls the door open, gestures me through. I step out, and then I hear it, the click of the door shutting behind me. Loud, final. I turn instinctively. The door's flat on the inside, no handle, just metal. I try to mask the flash of panic, already telling myself it's nothing. Old building. Probably normal. But I don't see anyone else. No other voices, no music, no ambient buzz of conversation. Just wind. The roof is beautiful, in a sterile, empty kind of way. Concrete deck, some old planters, strings of lights zip-tied to a rusted railing. The city skyline stretches in every direction, deep blue and glittering, but there's no one else up here, just me and him. I laugh lightly, more a question than amusement. "Where's everyone?" Elliot smiles like it's a surprise I already guessed. I didn't invite anyone else. I blink. I thought this was a party. It is. Just you and me. He says it like he's giving me a gift. Like the sentence should make me feel special instead of scared. I glance back at the door. "That lock normal?" He follows my gaze, shrugs. "It locks behind you. That's why I got here first." "Okay. How do we get back in?" "Don't worry about it yet," he says, stepping closer, handing me one of the glasses. "We've got time." I don't take the drink. I try not to make it obvious that I'm suddenly calculating exit routes. 4 stories down is not survivable. No visible fire escape. Just that door and the railing. And Elliot, standing 10 feet away, watching me like he's already decided how this night ends. "You said your friend had access to this place." "I said that so you'd come," he says. The wind picks up. I feel it in my ears, loud and hollow. "Elliot, open the door." He tilts his head. "You haven't even asked me why I brought you here." "I don't care why. I just want to leave." He takes a step forward. "Because I knew the second I saw you. We were meant to be. It's rare, you know? When someone feels just right. And I wasn't going to let another maybe slip away." I step back, hitting the edge of a planter box. My phone's in my purse. I reach for it slowly. No service, of course. He watches me try to check, and his smile fades just slightly. No one can hear you up here. What do you want? I say, voice shaking now. I want you to listen. Just listen to what this could be. You'll understand. I don't remember making the decision. I just remember running. I spin toward the door, shoulder check the flat metal panel, knowing it won't open but doing it anyway. Nothing. I scream, loud. But I know even before I do it, he's right. No one will hear me from up here. I whip around and grab one of the string lights, yank it from the zip tie. Glass shatters, one bulb down. I hold the jagged edge like a knife. Stay away from me. He stops, hands up, smiling again, calm as ever. You're scared now. But you won't be. You have no idea who I am, I spit. I know exactly who you are, he says. I've been watching you for weeks. That's when the real fear sets in. Because we only matched 3 days ago. I keep the glass raised as I move sideways along the perimeter of the roof. My hand finds a rusted pipe running along the wall. It connects to an old maintenance vent. Not big enough for a person, but close. My foot kicks something. Metal. A paint can. I look down. There are dozens of them. All empty. Spray paint. Tools. Bolt cutters. Why does a rooftop hangout need bolt cutters? Then I see something worse. A stack of printed photos. Of me. Screenshots. Instagram posts. My building. My dog. Elliot, I whisper, trembling. What is this? Don't call me that, he says softly. It's not my name. He lunges. I swing the broken bulb, make contact with his shoulder. He screams. High, sharp, not what I expected. I use it. Barrel past him, slam my entire body against the door. Something shifts. I slam again, harder. The bolt inside gives just enough to crack the opening. I wedge my arm in, force it, feel the edge of the knob, twist. The door explodes open. I fall through it, sprint down the stairs, knees shaking, purse bouncing against my ribs, out through the lobby, into the street. A man walking a dog turns as I burst onto the sidewalk. I don't stop until I hit the corner, hands on my knees, sobbing. I call the cops. They find nothing on the roof. No man, no bolt cutters, no photos, just shattered glass. I showed them the app, the match. The account was already gone, deleted, erased like it never existed. But I know what I saw, what I survived. I used to love city views, rooftops, quiet places. Now, I check every stairwell before I climb, every profile twice, every door, inside and out. Because some people don't want to date you. They want to trap you, dress it up as romance, hide it in candles and compliments. And then, they take you somewhere no one can hear you scream. I wasn't even going to go out that night. It had been a long week. Work was a mess, my roommate was out of town, and I'd been ghosted twice in a row on Hinge. I told myself I was just going to scroll, not actually message anyone, just browse, just swipe. But then he messaged me. Jordan. Tall, good smile, 2 photos of him holding dogs that weren't his, and a third of him in a suit that wasn't too polished. His texts had that rare mix of confidence and punctuation. He was flirty, but not aggressive. Quick, but not pushy. We talked for an hour. Then he asked if I wanted to grab a drink. I hesitated, said it was late, said I wasn't really in the mood to Uber downtown. Then let me pick you up, he said. We'll chill at my place. I'll cook. I paused for a while before answering. The idea of being cooked for, of not having to sit in another dim bar while pretending to laugh at someone's jokes. It sounded easy. So I said yes. He pulled up 20 minutes later. Black sedan, clean interior, quiet music playing. He smelled good. Better than good. Like cologne you don't notice until you're too close. He was wearing a black hoodie and jeans. Comfortable, casual, familiar. You good with Thai? He asked. I've got leftovers from this amazing place near me. You'll die. I said sure. We drove through side streets, toward the quieter end of town. No red flags. He talked the whole time, Told me about his dog. Confirmed, not his. His job in digital marketing. Vague but believable. And his recent obsession with cooking TikToks. I laughed more than once. He made it easy. Until we pulled up to the building. It was off. Not scary. Just off. Not a house. Not a sleek apartment tower. Just a squat, windowless building with one greenish overhead light above a heavy door. He parked in a side alley and got out like it was totally normal. I stayed in the car half a beat too long. He noticed. "It's not fancy, I know," he said, smiling. "My apartment's technically a live work loft. My friend owns the building. It's weird, but rent's amazing." I nodded like that explained it. Like people don't lie. He unlocked the door and led me inside. The second it shut behind us, everything changed. The hallway was too dark. Just exposed concrete, a single flickering light, and a strong chemical smell, like someone had cleaned too hard, too recently. He walked ahead like he lived there. I followed. The door to the unit was matte black with a keypad. He punched in the code without hesitation. The lock buzzed. He opened the door. What I saw on the other side didn't make sense. The apartment was completely empty. No couch, no kitchen, no art on the walls, just a large red mattress in the center of the floor, a tripod in the corner, a ring light, straps bolted into the floor and walls, and a video camera already recording. I froze. He stepped inside, then turned and looked at me. "I don't live here," he said. Calm, matter of fact. "I just rent it when I meet someone special." I turned to leave. The door was already shut. No handle on the inside. I didn't say anything. I didn't scream. I just looked at him, trying to decide if I could run faster than he could grab. "Don't freak out," he said, hands raised. "I'm not a bad guy. This isn't what it looks like. It looks like a setup. It's a fantasy space. You'd be surprised how many women are into this." "I'm not one of them," I snapped. "Open the fucking door." His face changed. Not angry, disappointed. Like I'd failed some test. "I should have known," he muttered. "You asked too many questions." He turned and walked over to a shelf I hadn't noticed. Picked up a tablet. Tapped the screen. The door clicked. I didn't wait for him to say anything else. I grabbed the handle, swung it open, and bolted down the hallway, shoes echoing off concrete, adrenaline making everything blur. I hit the main door and shoved it open into the night. My legs didn't stop moving until I was 3 blocks away. I didn't call the cops. I didn't even look back. I just ran. The next morning, I checked the app. His profile was gone. Not unmatched. Deleted. I searched reverse photos. Nothing. Reverse phone lookup from our texts? Burner. The guy didn't exist. At least not in the way I thought he did. But someone had rented that place. Someone had drilled those restraints into the floor. Someone had recorded something. I don't know what would have happened if I'd hesitated even a few seconds longer. And the worst part? I almost didn't run. Not because I wasn't scared, but because I kept telling myself I was overreacting, that I was being rude, that I was ruining the night, that I'd agreed to come inside, so maybe I owed it a few more minutes. But I don't owe anyone anything. Not when they lock the door behind you. Not when they say you're special. Not when their apartment isn't theirs. I deleted every app the next day. And I still wonder how many women that red mattress has seen, and how many of them walked back out. I wasn't even looking for anything serious. I'd just gotten out of a long relationship, the kind where your friends don't even say, "I told you so," because they're just relieved you finally ended it. I wasn't trying to jump back in. I was mostly on the apps for the dopamine, the passive swiping, and those rare conversations that reminded you people could still be interesting. That's how I met her. Tess. She messaged me first. Her profile was minimal. 4 photos. One by a tent, one in a hammock with a book over her face, one hiking solo on a narrow cliff edge, which looked terrifying, and one in a forest wearing a faded sweatshirt and no makeup, just grinning like she belonged out there. Her bio just said, "If you can't hang outdoors, don't bother." I replied with something dumb about hiking for the snacks. She hit me back with a laughing emoji, and then, "Test that theory. "Hike with me this weekend. I'll pack the trail mix." It should have felt fast. Too fast. But something about her tone, the challenge in it, made me feel like if I hesitated, she'd vanish. Like she wasn't the type to linger in the app. We made a plan. Saturday, 10 a.m. Meet at a ranger station about 45 minutes out of town. Bring water, good shoes, no ego. I showed up early. She pulled in 5 minutes later. Beat up Subaru, dust on the bumper, a crack in the back window. She stepped out like she'd been born in hiking boots, ponytail, flannel, trail pack already slung over one shoulder. She was even prettier in person, but not in the Instagram way. It was her presence. She moved like she was always in control of her space, like she didn't second-guess herself even for a second. She handed me a small paper bag. Salted almonds, banana chips, and M&Ms. Don't say I never feed you. I smiled, caught off guard. "You actually packed trail mix?" She grinned. "Told you I would." The first hour of the hike was great. Steady incline, shaded trails, the occasional deer darting through the brush. She led most of the way, pointing out trees she liked, making jokes about how she'd ditch me if I started complaining. I liked her. She was blunt, sarcastic, didn't overshare. About 30 minutes in, she turned to me and asked, "What's the worst thing you've ever done on a first date?" I laughed. Told her about a time I showed up still half hungover and spilled wine on my date's dog. She told me I was a menace. "Yours?" I asked. She paused just a beat too long. "I took someone on this exact hike," she said. "He tapped out halfway through." That stuck with me. I asked what happened. "He wasn't who he said he was," she said simply. "So I left him." "Left him? Like, on the trail?" She smiled. "Only for a few hours. He made it back. Barely." She laughed like it was a joke. I laughed too, but quieter. The further we hiked, the more the forest changed. The trail got thinner, rougher. No more carved markers, no more plastic tags on trees. We passed a rusted-out trail sign that had collapsed sideways in the dirt. No other hikers. No sounds but birds and the crunch of our boots. I checked my phone. No bars. "We still on trail?" I asked. She didn't stop walking. Mostly. That didn't sit right. I slowed down a bit, pretending to adjust my pack, trying to commit the path behind us to memory. But it already looked the same in every direction. Endless trees, steep drop-offs, nothing distinct. "Where are we headed?" "You'll see," she said. We reached a clearing around 1:30. A strange one, oval-shaped, ringed by moss-covered stones. No path in or out, like it had been carved out of the forest deliberately. She stopped in the center and dropped her bag. Then she turned to me and pulled something from the side pouch. A knife. Medium length. Fixed blade. Slightly rusted. She didn't raise it, just held it in one hand like she was inspecting it. "This," she said, her voice low but calm, "is where the last guy tapped out." I froze. My mind scrambled for what to say. "That's a joke, right?" "Nope." She took a step closer, still calm, still smiling faintly. "He lied to me. He said he loved the woods, that he was looking for something real. But the second things felt too real, he panicked." "Tess, look, I don't know what this is." "You're doing okay so far," she interrupted. "Haven't complained. That's good." "You're scaring me," I said quietly. "You should be scared," she replied. "That's how I know it's real." She reached into her bag again, pulled out rope. I took a slow step backward. "I'm leaving. You don't even know where we are. I'll figure it out. No service. No path. You'll break your ankle in 10 minutes. She lunged. Not a full sprint. Just a fast step, like she was testing how close she could get before I ran. So I ran. Full sprint. Didn't look back. The branches whipped against my face. The ground tilted down in sharp angles I couldn't see. I didn't care. All I knew was I had to get away from her. I slipped once, knee in the mud, but I kept going. After what felt like an hour, I found a thin trail, then a faded trail marker, then eventually a person. An older man with a walking stick, shocked to see me stumbling out of the trees, bleeding from the elbow. He helped me back to the lot. Tessa's car was gone. I filed a report. Ranger station said no one had seen her. Said the trail she described hadn't been maintained in years. That clearing didn't match anything on the park's layout. When I showed them her profile, they said they'd look into it. But the account was already deleted. No trace. Sometimes, when I hike alone now, I hear something move just off the trail, and I wonder, was I the one that got away? Or did she just let me? Because the way she smiled when I ran, that wasn't disappointment. That was satisfaction. I didn't realize I was falling for a version of someone I'd already left behind. It was subtle at first. She just reminded me of someone. We matched on Hinge. Her name was Lena. Profile was tasteful. 3 selfies, 1 blurry concert shot, 1 picture with a coffee mug that said, "Men are temporary, dogs are forever." That one made me laugh. She had a warmth to her texts, a calm vibe, the kind of person who took her time replying but always sent something thoughtful. We didn't do the wide dance. I mean, she actually asked real questions. Wanted to know about my favorite kind of weather. Asked what I'd cook if I could cook anything. That kind of thing. I was 2 months out of a breakup, not in a rush, still emotionally jet-lagged. But Lena was easy to talk to. And her voice, when we finally spoke on the phone, was soft. Familiar in a way I couldn't quite place. Our first date was drinks at a quiet spot in the Heights. She walked in wearing a green jacket and black boots, hair tied back just enough to show the shape of her face. And that's when I felt it. That jolt. Like my brain took an extra second to process what I was seeing. Because she looked just like my ex. I know how that sounds. Everyone's dated someone who looks a little like someone else. People have types. That's not news. But this was different. Same building, same haircut, same way she tilted her head when she smiled, same voice. I didn't say anything. Not that night. We talked for 3 hours. She asked me about my job, my dog, where I went to college. Told me she worked in nonprofit marketing, but wanted to start her own business someday. She laughed easily, touched my hand once across the table, and every time she looked up at me, I saw her, my ex, Naomi. After the 3rd round, she excused herself to the restroom. I sat there in silence, watching the condensation run down the glass, trying to decide if I was reading too much into it. If maybe my brain was just looking for patterns, filling in gaps. But when she came back and smiled again, I knew I wasn't imagining it. It wasn't until date 3 that I brought it up. We were on her couch, half watching a movie, legs tangled. I'd had just enough wine to let the thought slip out. "You know, you kinda look like my ex?" She didn't flinch, didn't act surprised, just looked over at me, smiled, and said, "Yeah, I know." "Wait, what?" She turned toward me fully now, sitting cross-legged on the couch. "I studied her socials," she said, like it was the most normal thing in the world. Hair, tone of voice, what kind of outfits she wore when you two were still posting together. I wasn't trying to be her. I just wanted to be your type. I laughed, reflexively, uncomfortably. "You're joking." She didn't laugh back. "Your sister's name is Jamie, right?" I blinked. "How do you know that?" "You tagged her in a birthday post 2 years ago." "I liked the cake, by the way. Red velvet?" I sat up straighter. "How much did you read?" "Enough to get it right." She leaned back into the couch like she'd passed a test. "You dated Naomi for 2 years. She was an Aries, right?" "Lena, don't worry," she said softly. "I'm not her. I'm better." After that night, I didn't text her back right away. I needed space, time to think. I wasn't even sure how I felt. Part of me was creeped out, but another part, the lonely, wounded part, was flattered, curious, drawn in by how precise she'd been. Who does that? Who goes that far just to match someone's type? But she didn't bombard me with texts. She gave me space. Sent a message the next day that just said, "If you're weirded out, I get it. But I promise my intentions were good. I just wanted to feel familiar." And that line messed me up. Because haven't we all wanted that? To skip the awkward beginnings and land somewhere that already feels known? I saw her again. Maybe I shouldn't have. But I did. And she was normal again. We went to a movie. She joked about bad trailers. She held my hand in the dark. It felt easy again. Until we walked back to her apartment and she said, "You left your toothbrush here." What? From last time. I've never stayed over. She looked confused for a second, then smiled. "Oh, right. That was someone else." But her voice cracked when she said it. And I knew. She wasn't confused. She was testing me. Seeing if I'd correct her. Seeing if I'd pretend. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about how she knew too much and had said too little, about how she'd studied my ex's life to build herself into someone I'd want. And the worst part? It worked. Until it didn't. I finally ended things a week later. Told her I needed to focus on myself, that it wasn't fair to her. She didn't fight it, didn't cry, just looked at me with this strange sort of empathy and said, "It's okay. I'll get it right next time." What? With someone else. I'll find his type. I blocked her. Deleted the app, changed my profile pics. Took a long break from dating altogether. But last month, a friend sent me a profile. Different name, different city, same eyes, different hair, but styled exactly like my friend's ex. Same tone, same poses, and I realized she wasn't trying to be Naomi anymore. She'd already moved on to someone else's fantasy, because that's what she does. She doesn't want to date you. She wants to become what you'll never say no to. And when it stops working, she molts and starts again. You know how sometimes a date feels like a breath of fresh air? That's what he was. Ryan. We matched after a streak of flops. People who couldn't hold a conversation. Guys who asked you up at 5 p.m. One dude who sent a shirtless photo before saying hi. But Ryan? He was different, clever, kind. His bio was short. Small gestures greater than grand promises. And he lived up to it. Our first date was coffee at this tucked-away indie shop. Not even my usual neighborhood, which I liked. He brought me a cinnamon roll because I'd mentioned in passing, in the chat 2 days earlier, that I missed my hometown bakery. That kind of memory? Unreal. The conversation was smooth. He wasn't overbearing, didn't talk only about himself, asked real questions, listened. When we parted, he asked if he could see me again, not with some grand pitch, just a soft, "I'd like to." So I said yes. Second date was a walk by the river trail. He packed snacks. There were lights strung through the trees near the water, and he made a dumb joke about fireflies unionizing. I remember thinking, this could be something. Then, at the end of the night, he pulled out a small box. "Nothing big," he said, a little sheepishly. "Just something that made me think of you." I opened it. A necklace. Simple silver chain, small teardrop pendant. Minimalist. Beautiful. "You didn't have to get me anything," I said, surprised. "I know," he shrugged. "It's just, you seem like someone who actually wears the things people give her." That line stuck with me. I wore it every day for the next 3 weeks. Everything was good. Better than good. Ryan didn't text constantly, but he was consistent. Checked in. Asked how work was. Sent me funny TikToks he thought I'd like. The kind of guy you actually want to hear from after a long day. We weren't official, but we were seeing each other regularly. I hadn't dated anyone that naturally in years. Then things started feeling weird. Not in-your-face weird. Just off. Once I bumped into him at the grocery store, 20 minutes from his place, at a time I'd never said I'd be there. He smiled, acted surprised, said he was just trying a new store. Another time, he mentioned something small, what I ordered from a food truck while out with friends. I hadn't posted it. Hadn't told him. I brushed it off. People remember things. Coincidences happen. But then, something happened that flipped the switch completely. It was a Friday morning. I was showing a coworker a pair of earrings I wanted online. We ended up in a rabbit hole. Jewelry, Reddit reviews, those weird TikToks about hidden cameras and everyday items. She paused on one. "Oh damn," she said. "Did you see this? People are hiding GPS chips in necklaces now, like for stalking." The video showed a necklace almost identical to mine. Same chain, same teardrop. My stomach dropped. "Wait, hold up. Go back." I grabbed the necklace from around my neck and held it up to the screen. It was identical. My coworker's face changed. "Please tell me you didn't buy that off Etsy." "Someone gave it to me." "Who?" "A guy I'm dating." We watched the rest of the video. A woman had found the tracker after breaking up with someone who kept, coincidentally, showing up. Inside the pendant, behind the teardrop, was a chip. Not visible unless you pried it open. My hands were shaking. I excused myself and went straight to the nearest electronics repair shop. I told them I thought something was stuck in it. They opened it with a micro tool. Inside, a GPS chip. Battery-powered. Bluetooth enabled. I asked how it worked. The guy told me it was passive. Sent signals to the nearest paired device. The person tracking didn't need to be close. Just needed the right app. I asked how long it had been active. He said, "This one? Probably a few weeks. You've been broadcasting every move." I blocked Ryan immediately, changed my number. Went home and tore apart my apartment, looking for anything else he might have left. Nothing. Just the necklace. I went to the police, filed a report. They asked me if I had proof he planted it. I didn't. There were no fingerprints, no messages, no confession. They told me without more evidence, there wasn't much they could do. The part that still makes my skin crawl? A week later, I got a package. No return address. Inside was another box, different wrapping, same necklace. No note, just the pendant. Waiting. I moved 3 weeks later. New job, new city, new everything. But even now, I can't wear jewelry without wondering if it's watching me, tracking me. I double-check my phone's Bluetooth. I use an RFID pouch in my purse. I don't accept gifts from anyone, not on the second date, not ever. Because when someone seems perfect too early, they're not getting to know you. They're collecting data. And when you finally figure it out, they've already been following you for weeks. She seemed perfect. Until I got pulled over. We met on Hinge. She had that rare mix of warm and sharp, sarcastic in the right places, quick with a comeback. The kind of person who made you feel like you already knew her. We talked for a week. The conversation never died. She suggested drinks. I offered to pick her up. She lived just outside the city, in a nice area, a little far from where I usually went. But it felt worth it. First date energy was high. She came out in a dark green dress, hair curled, perfume that lingered in the car long after I dropped her off. Dinner was great, easy. We laughed a lot. She talked about her job in tech support and a horrible boss she was manifesting an escape from. I told her about my graphic design work and the freelance clients who still thought I was on call 24/7. She ordered whiskey. I liked that. We didn't talk about exes, politics, money, none of the heavy stuff. Just movies, music, childhood. She told me she used to be a competitive swimmer. I told her I once fainted during a school play. She laughed, touched my arm a few times, said I was sweet, smart. We didn't kiss at the door. She hugged me, tight. Said she had fun and wanted to do it again. I drove off feeling good, really good. And about 10 minutes into the drive home, the red and blues lit up behind me. Unmarked car, tinted windows, spotlight in my rear view. I pulled over, rolled down the window. My heart was pounding, not because I thought I'd done anything wrong, but because a cop pulling you over late at night is never just chill. The guy approached my window fast, Flashlight already out. Didn't even say hello. License and registration. I gave them over. He barely looked at them. Pop the trunk. I blinked. I'm sorry? He leaned down. Not angry, just firm. Pop the trunk. I asked why. He said they were investigating a stolen property lead involving a vehicle matching my description. Said it was random. Said it would just take a minute. Something didn't feel right. His uniform was black. No patch. No badge I could see. Just a belt, flashlight, gun. No name tag. I asked for ID. He stepped back, annoyed. You're refusing? I told him I just wanted to confirm. That it felt sudden. He reached for his belt. Not the holster, just near it. His hand hovered. That's when I noticed something in his back pocket. A phone, lit up. The screen said, "Find my iPhone, tracking." And the location? My car. He saw me look. I stared at him, and in that split second, it clicked. She set me up. I threw the car into drive. Tires screamed. The fake cop lunged for the door handle and missed. I didn't look back. I ran a red, cut across 2 lanes, got to a gas station with people inside, well lit, cameras everywhere. I parked crooked, ran inside, told the cashier to call the cops. He was gone by the time the real officers showed up. The plate on the unmarked car? Fake. Registered to a vehicle that had been junked years ago. My date? Vanished. The app profile was deleted before I got back home. Her number stopped working. Reverse image search showed nothing. They said it was a targeted theft setup, that she'd probably done this before. Charm the guy, get picked up, track the car, signal her partner. What were they after? Could have been robbery. Could have been worse. They said I was lucky. I didn't feel lucky. I felt played, stupid, violated. I haven't picked anyone up since. Now it's coffee shops only, public places. I don't care how charming someone is. If they ask for a ride, it's a no.